Any opinion about a K-pop idol that is not 100% positive is considered hate, and that diva is delusion. Diva down. She's been taken out by delusion. Something that I see no matter what idol, group, or fan base is the fans' consistent, almost dire need to coddle every single K-pop idol that exists within the K-pop industry. Coddling famous people is not new or exclusive to K-pop, but I find that the stronger the parasocial relationship is, the higher there is a chance of said person getting coddled by the fans. And that's why it's so prevalent in the K-pop industry. 98%, being generous, while 99% of the people that are in the public eye absolutely use parasocial relationships to some degree in order for them to stay as successful as they can or stay at the place that they're at, it's to a certain degree, right? But for K-pop, that is arguably one of the foundations of K-pop, the parasocial relationships. You don't have apps in the Western music industry that are dedicated to your favorite artist texting you 150 times a day, letting you know what's going on in their life. You don't have experiences where the more you spend, it is literally rewarded with a FaceTime call with your favorite artist where you can say anything. You can ask them to say or do anything because it is so unregulated, because the K-pop industry never wants to break that illusion that this idol exists for you. So of course you can ask them to meow like a cat and bark like a dog, and they ask them to call you good girl and live out your sexual fantasies on this fan call because idols exist for you. And that's a whole other video that's been in the drafts for a while that I could do. The K-pop industry is lying to you. That's a great title. The K-pop industry is lying to you. The K-pop industry wants you to buy into this lie that they're selling, that these idols exist for you. But I don't want to end up focusing on another topic, another video for another day. I'm just saying this so you can understand the correlation between parasocial relationships and coddling said idols. If you think someone exists for you, if you think you know someone, if you think you love them, that is the perfect mixture that manifests in coddling. Mix it all together and I should watch Hannah Montana. Oh my God. I should watch Hannah Montana. I'm gonna watch Hannah Montana later. Oh my God. You get the man. Coddling means treating them with excessive care, kindness, and indulgence, often to the point of overprotection or pampering. It can also involve shielding them from challenges or difficult situations. While seemingly kind, coddling can hinder growth and development by preventing individuals from learning and coping with adversity on their own. And sometimes it's not even adversity. It's not even adversity that these fans will try and protect these idols from, bro. And if you love a person, seeing them hurt could be the worst thing you could ever experience. And the gag is, this article and almost all the articles that I looked up about coddling is about parenting. And I'm gonna say this, and some of y'all are not gonna understand. Some of y'all are going to get upset and disagree, and that's completely fine. To be quite honest, I don't fucking care. But you can't love someone if you don't know them. I'm gonna say that one more time. You cannot love someone if you do not know them. It is impossible. You do not love that K-pop idol. You love their music. Why? Because you know the music. You listen to it all the time. You love what they provide when they go and clock in to work because you know it. You're familiar with how they dance. You're familiar with how they sound when they sing. You can love the ideas that come out of their head. You can love the way they think. You can love aspects of them, but you cannot love them as a whole because you do not know them as a whole. So the article saying that if you love someone, seeing them getting hurt could be the worst thing you could ever experience, while of course you can care about someone base level and not want them to get hurt, let's not mistake caring with loving. Listen, I used to think I loved Harry Styles when I was 13, okay? We were all there at that point. I was peak perfect age when the British invasion came around for One Direction. Also, British invasion, that is a crazy thing to call it, considering the British. Okay. Like, I used to think I loved Harry Styles, but I didn't And I still don't. I love the things he says he stands for. I love his fashion sometimes. I love his music and I love his voice. I love him as an artist, but I can't love someone I don't know, which is why it is crazy that there are people trying to coddle strangers. But it makes sense because of the parasocial relationship we have. So we're pushed into these specific beliefs. We think we know these people because of the amount of content that we see from them and of them. We in tune feel attached to them because we think we know their personalities and how they are as people. And even more dangerous, think that just because we like them, that means that they're good people and not capable of doing anything bad, which is not fucking true at all. We don't know them. That is the only truth. We don't know them. Every single thing you think you know and assume about these idols by default are made up. And they're made up because you don't know them. I don't care how many compilations you watch. I don't care if an idol goes on live and tells you the phase of the moon that was in the sky when they were born and their whole lore. I don't care what personality that they give on camera. If you don't know them personally, if you aren't talking to them all the time, like a back and forth conversation, not a paying for a subscription service where they text you, because diva, that is not a conversation. You are a fan of who you decided they are in your head. And that is what you're attached to. That is what you're trying to protect. When we tend to think of these idols, we create a idealized version of them in our head. K-pop idol. It's already there. At times, we subconsciously attach our own beliefs and maybe parts of us that we want to be onto who we think this person is. Subconsciously, there are parts of us we have attached and see in that idol. So if they're wrong, then we're wrong. We have created the perfect viewing of how we think they are in our head. So when someone says anything that does not line up with the belief we have about them that they're perfect, they're going against us, not only the idol personally, but us personally. And they're wrong. I need coffee. Hold on. Oh my God. Coachella. Put your hands up. And when I'm at Coachella and I do that, clip this. Enyphen did a great job. I just wanted to say that. A lot of people see this behavior as protecting their idols. Wow, let me start over. A lot of people see this behavior as protecting idols from hate, when really it's shielding idols from any other opinion that does not hold them 100% in a positive light. It's funny because whenever I see these fans trying to protect these idols, it's usually not from hate. It's from constructive criticism. Here's the definition of constructive criticism, because a lot of you guys don't know what that is. I'll just leave it here for you. Okay. And this is where coddling people harms them, because you're not even executing the job that you want to execute them. Whoa. That is not, because you're not even executing the job that you want to execute. Period. Jesus Christ. You're not even going to the actual ateez. You're not even going to the actual real hate comments. And they do exist. We've fucking seen them before. You end up fighting with and attacking people who just have constructive criticism that can help the idol grow as an artist and as a human being. I don't know if you know this, but constructive criticism actually helps people. Oh my God, crazy. When you're younger, it might be harder for you to see that not everything is a personal attack. I also noticed too that if you're the type that might take everything personally because you might be a little bit more insecure and not really understand nuance as much, which can definitely have correlation to, people being younger in age, that just because someone is criticizing something that you do does not mean that they're criticizing you as a person. There's a higher chance that when the person you like is getting attacked, you'll assume that that's a personal attack on them. And on top of that, just because if you are hypothetically put in a situation that they're currently put in and you would react in a certain way doesn't mean that they would also react in a certain way. I'm really sorry that I'm using this example, but this is the only example that I could think of currently. There's a situation where Chris Evans accidentally leaked his own nudes, and there were a lot of people that were really actually freaking the fuck out, having conniptions about this, and it was the stand, not all Chris Evans stands, but a lot of the Chris Evans stands. A lot of his stands are younger. I am a former Chris Evans stan myself. Hello, my name is Indigo. I am a former Chris Evans stan. And if I were to get stats, I could confidently say that the people that were freaking out more, there's a higher chance that they were younger. The people who were freaking out more were either subscribed to the parasocial relationships more or were younger in age. And there's definitely correlation there. So when you're in these parasocial relationships, you tend to project because that's all you can do. You have no fact and reality to base your relationship off of. It's not a two-way relationship. It's a one-way relationship. It's not, I know this person and this person knows me, right? It's, I know this person and this person doesn't know me. So any assumption and belief and thought I have about them, they cannot validate because they don't know me and I don't know them. So I am validating and making everything up because I don't know who this person is. Some people may forget that just because you're 16 doesn't mean that Chris Evans is 16. Chris Evans is in his 40s now. Kind of hot, not gonna lie. And I'm not saying that the older you get, the more you're like a stone cold bitch and just have no feelings. Anyone going through that specific situation he did is absolutely fucking mortifying, and I'm sure he had emotions and feelings about it. But I think because we tend to project, and once again, just because you're 16 or 14 years old and would act a certain way in the situation doesn't mean that this grown adult is going to have the same thoughts and feelings as you, which once again, you don't know them. So the only feelings and thoughts you can put into their head are the ones you have because you don't fucking know them and you're your base of reality. Chris was literally like, yeah, that was embarrassing, but like, go vote, guys. Ha! Mark Ruffalo was kind of like poking fun at him, and then there were like some Chris Evans stans that were like, oh my God, this is so fucked up. How could he do this? I know Chris is dying inside. Do you know him? Once again, the parasocial relationships be fucking beating y'all ass and it don't make any fucking sense. This nigga Mark Ruffalo was actually friends with Chris Evans. They've known each other for years. For literal fucking years. They might have known each other since before the fucking Avengers movie. They might have known each other since before they both got movies in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Scarlett Johansson and Chris Evans have known each other literally since they were fucking children because they've been acting since they're fucking children. If his friends are joking about it, he's okay. Like, you projecting because you're so emotionally invested in someone, you might not realize it. You may be thinking that because of whatever you've created and made up about this person, they're more like you than they actually really are. And I said this in the sports video, but music is so attached with our identity. So if anyone is critiquing or saying anything that's not 100% positive about these idols, you're going to take it as a personal attack on you and your identity. All of this being said, I can absolutely understand why stans coddle, but it's not a behavior that's helping these idols. Like I said before, fans think when they do certain actions, they're supporting these idols when they actually end up harming them even more. Now, when I say coddling, I think people assume specific types of behaviors that manifest in one type of way, like babying and infantilizing, thinking these idols don't know anything about being an adult and certain things about life. I made a YouTube video talking about the infantilization of K-pop idols. Guess what that's about? And in that video, when I was doing research, I found a conspiracy theory on Reddit, because of course it was fucking on Reddit, that Jungkook was forced to make Seven because he's a widow baby and he knows nothing about sex and relationships. And while obviously that is one way fans can coddle idols, it's not the only way. It's done in ways where fans think they're actually supporting and protecting idols, and like it might seem positive, but it's actually the complete opposite. I'll give a personal example. So San from ateez is one of my biases. I also should say that I've been dancing since I was 5 years old. I'm 23 now. I've been dancing for 18 years. And I've gone to multiple schools for dancing. That doesn't mean I'm the best dancer in the world. I obviously am improving more every single day. But I have a more educated opinion than other K-pop stans when it comes to critiquing idols and how they dance. Just wanted to say that. I have noticed San has been a little bit more stiff. Just like a little bit more stiff in terms of his dancing than he usually is. And I said this around like my other ateeny friends. And because ateenies are well adjusted for the most part, and I definitely think that there's correlation between not being in a parasocial relationship and subscribing to it and thinking that it's true as much and being older, they didn't think it was a personal attack on San, because it's not. But if someone critiques an idol's dancing and gives them like constructive criticism, which gives them a chance to get back in the studio more, improve, fix up some details, learn different textures to execute moves in a different way, work on endurance or breath control, maybe even take some classes outside of K-pop, becoming overall a more well-rounded and better dancer. Nope. You said this, so you're a hater. Literally, if a dancer or a K-pop idol were to give me constructive criticism if Yoongi were to listen to my rap songs and give me constructive criticism as a rapper, that would make me a better rapper. If one of my fans were like, don't listen to Yoongi, he doesn't know what he's saying, you're already perfect, how am I supposed to grow and become a better artist and hone my craft? The fuck? Who do I think is a really good dancer? Nikki. If Nikki from enyphen saw one of my dance videos and was like, you're really good, you're really good. You should do this to tweak and improve, and this is what I would do. I would be so fucking happy, because it is someone that is very, very fucking good, that has a different background and different experience, that is fucking helping me. Constructive criticism is not hate. Constructive criticism is help. And if a fan of mine were like, oh, don't listen to him, whatever, you're not a fan of mine because you don't want to see me get better. This video is what sparked this video. But a K-pop idol recently came out with a video apologizing for cultural appropriation and cultural appropriating Black culture in a music video. He sat down and he talked with some people. He learned and got educated on, a little bit of Black culture and, do-rag, why what he did was wrong, so he can no longer do it again. And, his actions will tell. But one of the first comments I saw, of course, because it's K-pop, is that you don't have to apologize. It's just a hairstyle. You did nothing wrong, which we already don't know what we're talking about, because a do-rag is not a hairstyle. I always see whenever a K-pop idol cultural appropriates, I always see coddling from fans. Lord Jesus Christ. You would rather this person harm and hurt other people and fans, continue to be ignorant, disrespect an entire culture, further alienating people, which hurts the K-pop idol's chances of being more successful by gaining fans, which is something that I thought you would want because you're a fan of them, right? And you want them to be successful. Pushing your own ignorance on them because you don't know the history and actual use of do-rags and braids. So since you're ignorant and you don't know that it's a problem, then there's no problem. Not letting them grow as a person or artist. Mind you, this comes from the mouth of the nigga in the video himself. This literally came from the mouth of this K-pop idol, talking about how he grew up on Black artists. And I think he said some of his music, or this song and music video specifically, was a tribute to the Black artist he listens to and grew up with. And if he wants to express appreciation through his artistry, he won't be able to do that if he's sitting here and disrespecting the culture that he wants to appreciate. So he has to be educated on the culture. So you're also hindering him in what he wants to do as an artist, all because you want to fucking coddle him. Like, let's be for real. Coddling does not only not allow growth as a artist, but as a person. And I realize you don't care about their artistry. You don't care about them as a human. You couldn't care if they're well adjusted in the world. You couldn't care if they're educated. You couldn't care if they're genuinely hurting or harming other people. You couldn't care less if they're pushing ignorant and racist stereotypes about other peoples and cultures onto this world more. You couldn't care if they were successful or not. As much as you say you want these K-pop idols you love to be successful, and you're spamming every single Twitter reply with a fan cam and streaming their music so they get #1, your actions constantly go against that. Coddling constantly goes against that. I don't understand how you don't see that an idol consistently cultural appropriating other people's culture directly cuts the amount of people that could potentially be fans of them or are fans of them in half, because these idols are not respecting these people because they're not educated on it. So when you're not allowing idols to take accountability for their actions and educate themselves so they won't make these mistakes again, you're not only shrinking the potential fan base down, but you're cutting their opportunities in half. I was gonna say this, I'm putting this comment up. This is such a great comment. K-pop fans like to call everything infantilization, and then they go and coddle and baby these idols, telling your idols, no, you're perfect the way you are. Don't listen to these people who want you to learn and grow as a person, is literally infantilizing. The thing is that sometimes they themselves are ignorant and bigoted, and their idol acknowledging and changing their behavior makes them feel bad. This is fucking tea, especially that fucking last sentence. Makes them not only feel bad, it makes them feel like they're in the wrong and their beliefs are being challenged, which goes against their identity and them as a person. I think a lot of K-pop stans think that being a fan of somebody means coddling them, and that is not the case. That is not what a fan is, and that is not supporting them. There's being a fan of somebody's music and then being a fan of someone as a person. I think being a fan of somebody as a person means you want them to be happy. You want their mental health to be good. You want them to get money. You want them to eat well. You want them to experience all of these positive things in life. It also means that they need to be held accountable for their actions so they can grow and mature as a person. The more you learn about this world and other cultures and stuff that is not just exclusive to you, the more you become a well-adjusted member of society so you can go out and interact with different parts of society. If you want to be, I say this in every single video, but if you want to be a super famous, successful, world-renowned, global K-pop idol like BTS, you cannot be ignorant, because if you want the world to accept you, diva, you have to accept the world. If you want the world to respect you, you have to respect the world. So the next time that you go to dox someone because you think they've challenged the view of perfection that you've made up and created about said K-pop idol, I remind you, while their job title is K-pop idol, they are a human. So you coddling this person just because of the assumption that you made up and the projecting that you're doing are hindering these people. You're trapping them into not becoming a version of themselves who is more respectful and empathetic and educated to others and about others. Your coddling is not only harming them artistically, but it's harming them as a person. And that's the video.